Oh man, I don't have no intro. That's crazy. I had a whole intro going.
I can't protect you if I can't correct you.
We've got something to share. We're really proud of our product and are excited to make it available on our website. Check it out now. We've got something to share.
I have to definitely upgrade that. I gotta upgrade that intro. I have First off, I do have that shirt available. So you can go to thecharmhour.com if you would like to support the platform. And if you would like to support the show, you can most certainly go to thecharmhour.com and get a shirt. You can get some merch. We have those type of things over there. Uh, and when you do that, you do support the show and the expansion of what we're doing. You don't have to donate to a school. You don't have to donate to a school that's never going to come. You don't have to be a part of any type of scams. I'm not here to scam you. I'm only here to advance idea, thoughts. That's what I'm here to do. I get on this platform that, I've built not by myself, but with the help of others. And I get on here to expand ideals, thoughts, concepts. That's what we do when we have a voice, when we have a message to spread. And a part of that is capitalism. We get to capitalize off of that. We build a fan base, and you can support us, and you can support our channels, and you can give us things and money and however you feel, wherever your heart leads you, that's fine. And in return, we offer you thought. We say the things that you don't want to say. I can say things that you may not feel comfortable saying. And that's entertaining. A lot of what we do here, and when I say we, there are a lot of people who podcast, there are a lot of people that have platforms. We get on these, whatever the case may be, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is, we get up here and we say things that you're afraid to say, and you find it enjoyable. You find it entertaining. I do it all of the time. This is not new for me. It's something that I actually enjoy doing. I like getting in front of you and saying how I feel about the world. I'm a spectator just like you, but I get to say how I really feel about things. And you get to hear me say it, and you wish you could say it, and it's entertaining for you. At the end of the day, a lot of this is entertainment. A lot of what we do here is entertainment. But here is what's really funny, especially in the age of social media. In the age of social media, people really get pissed about your opinion. People can really get upset and mad that you have an opinion that differs from theirs. And they will want to get violent. People will threaten you in these comments. People will make fun of you. It's one thing to make fun of you. It's one thing to just say some kind of crazy, wonky shit in the comments. And then there's a whole nother thing where you actually want to bring pain and violence to somebody's life for having an opinion. Excuse me, by the way, for being a little groggy and rough. I just got off the road. I'm a trucker. I'm a blue collar worker. So I just got off the road for 3 weeks, and I'm here to say, hey, I hadn't got to talk no shit in about 3 weeks in front of you. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share some opinions that you may agree with or that you may not agree with. But I'm going to say stuff from the bottom of my heart that is polarizing, and it should be like that. Speech is supposed to be like that. We're supposed to be able to get on microphones, get in communities, get in circles of people, whatever the case may be, and say how we feel about shit. That's freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is I see something I like, I see something I don't like. I I don't know how I feel about something, but I get to talk about it in front of others in a community, wherever the case may be. And I should be able to do that with a level of freedom that doesn't take my freedom away, or harm should not be brought to me. But that's really not the case. It's never really been the case, if we're just being honest. It's never really been the case that you can just say what you want without some kind of tension, friction, and even violence. We do have a history of that in this country. We have a history of that in the entire world politically, which is why the forefathers thought of it to say, hey, we've got to have freedom of speech. We've got to have it to where you're not being persecuted for saying how you feel, or if you have critique of government. We have to set that up. I'm gonna dive right into it. I don't think that the government should pressure any organization to fire a citizen for having an opinion. I don't believe that. I don't think that the government or the FCC should be down Jimmy Kimmel's throat saying, hey, we don't like what you said. Or, hey, ABC, we don't like what he said. You guys need to be pressured into getting rid of this guy. I don't like that aspect of it at all. But it's a slippery slope when Jimmy Kimmel himself and a lot of people with that mindset uh, essentially are excited when others lose their job for saying how they feel, such as Tucker Carlson or Roseanne Barr. These are people that are saying things that are opposed to what you believe, and you enjoy when it happens to them. So, how is it different with you? Here's my issue with Jimmy Kimmel. Um, Again, I don't think this was a freedom of speech issue. And the reason why I don't think this was a freedom of speech issue in its entirety is because we watched a guy get slain. We watched a guy lose his life in front of his wife, in front of his kid, uh, in front of the whole entire world to see. We actually got to watch this, no matter how you feel about this guy. He had an opinion. He was essentially a content creator. I'm going to get a little more into Charlie Kirk, though, and why I think he met his demise. But at the end of the day, he was a content creator. He had a platform and he said how he felt. He did start a political movement as a teen. He did have a political movement, I'll say that. But essentially, this guy is just, he has an opinion about things. And over his opinion, or maybe not being affiliated with certain people that wanted him to be affiliated with them, or not uh, succumbing to pressure to say what they wanted him to say, he lost his life. But it's how he did it. He lost his life in front of the entire world, and it simultaneously got played over and over and over again. This is something that I would have stayed away from. I wouldn't have made any commentary of it. I wouldn't have made any joke of it. I would have left it alone. And the one thing we need to drive home is, hey, any commentary on this outside of, hey guys, RIP to him, condolences to his family, it's just over the top. Nobody's saying mourn him and sad. There's some people out here saying that, especially black people. I'm sorry, I'm going straight to y'all. Oh, we don't have to mourn over him and be sad. But you don't mourn over things that happen in your own community as much. You're not upset about things that happen in your own community. So I think a lot of the fake outrage because you think somebody's racist, I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Because you're not upset at anything that happens in your own community. You must not be. Drill music, for instance, you're okay with that. You're okay with listening to serial killer music. Cardi B was in Houston, what, today or yesterday or today? It's probably yesterday now, because in somewhere it's the next day. It's 12 a.m. somewhere else, but Central Time it's 11:25. She's pregnant, shaking her ass in front of everybody at Walmart. Y'all love that. So I think black outrage is fake. But this guy lost his life. It doesn't matter how you feel about him. It doesn't matter who he is and what he believed in. This guy lost his life in front of the world to see. And some of the commentary on it was outrageous and over the top. And I think a lot of liberals have not come against this. A lot of liberals have not stood up to say, hey, we don't like political violence. Even though we know we have a history of it, this is something we want to progress from. We want people to be okay with having their opinions. Another thing is, this guy wasn't an extremist. I think we have such a sensitive community and society. We have such a sensitive community and such a sensitive society that we don't know what an extremist is. This guy said nothing extreme, even if you don't like what he's saying. He has no extreme ideology. And then many of you talked him up to a point to where we went and did deep dives and rabbit hole searching on this dude. I heard, look, I would see Charlie on some TikTok clips, and I might see him on some sponsored ads where he's saying a bunch of shit that I didn't agree with. And that's the world we live in, y'all. I have clips that I purposely make them that way to get you to watch. We live in a clip. See, this clip thing has gone in a terrible direction because you don't like long format consumption. You don't want to just watch things in long format. You want the most raunchy, controversial statement and conversation to be jam packed for 30 minutes of excitement. You don't want to sit and listen to a good conversation in full context. So creators, all advertisers have chopped up things into clips for you to consume so you hopefully will watch things in full context. We're hoping that. But we have found that you don't do that. You don't do that. You look at the clip and you base the person's whole ideology off of a clip. That's what you do. So most of what I saw from him was based off of clips. When I went and saw what he said off full context, I'm like, that's not what he's saying at all. Now, some of us could say that's the fault of the content creator. That's fair because it's done on purpose. I want you to understand that when you get these little clips, that shit is done on purpose. So you could hopefully go watch everything in full context. But guess what? You don't go watch everything in full context. It's the same thing with Kevin Samuels. Do you know how many women I went to debate about what Kevin Samuels was saying, hadn't even watched a full video of his? How can you have a debate if you haven't seen what he said in full context? So when I go see what Charlie is saying in full context, I realize, hey, he's not an extremist. A lot of what he said you may not like, but he's not an extremist. All right, we got somebody here. Come on, Rob. What's up, Rob?
Hey, bro,
10
man,
minutes.
I had to do I had some tasks and some work I needed to do tonight, but I just man I felt led, bro. I just to come here, bro, and really just brother like this is an intervention, man. Let this shit go, nigga. Like move, let this shit go, bro. This shit,
Let,
you
let,
was
let
right.
what let what go?
This shit, man.
What do you mean?
You was writing your book about masculinity, bro.
Hey,
You was in
you're
your
not finna
bed.
do that. You're not finna do that.
Let this shit
If I
go.
gotta make this solo, I'll make it solo. Now
Let let
you gonna come participate, or you gonna have to go get off and
let
do what you were doing. Is that what you want
let
to do?
let
Okay,
this
I think
go,
that's
bro.
what you might have to do. All right, that's not what we came to do here. That's not what we gonna do. The show is about what the show is about. And you know what? I have the freedom to do that. I have the freedom to talk about what I want to talk about. I just exemplified that right now. That's the issue with a lot of super left liberal ideology is I don't want to hear that. Well, tune out. You don't have to hear that. And that brother's a part of this show. But I'm not letting shit go. That's what the fucking title's about. The title and the subject matter is about that. And that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight. I have a lead up. That's why I like doing uninterrupted. See, I have a panel of guests, but for the most part, I am uninterrupted because when I'm teaching, it needs to be like that. Most of y'all need to just be in a space to where you're just listening. Because if he'd allowed me to get to the point that I'm trying to make, it will all make sense. I haven't done one fucking show yet for somebody to tell me to let something go. I barely have talked about this. I'm leading up to something. That's why I don't want, listen, I work for a living. I don't want to have people that give me money and tell me what and when to say shit. I have merchandise you guys can buy if you'd like to buy it, if you'd like to buy stuff from me, but I don't want to be censored. In fact, I do have a subscription model coming for thecharmhour.com where you can just get all the thoughts, everything I feel that's not censored. Because there's still some censorship going on with YouTube. There's still some censorship going on with TikTok and all of that. You should be able to say how you feel.
Hey man,
Do
I'm
you
back
wanna
like
do you wanna do
I'm
you
I'm
wanna participate?
I'm back like Jordan wearing the 4-5, dog.
Do you
I
wanna
look.
participate?
What you think, man? You see I'm
I have a
participating.
lead. See, this is how this goes. And I was just saying this. This I have a lead up to what I want to say. This is not all about Charlie Kirk. I have a lead up to what I want to say. So there's several things to get into. The basis of tonight's episode is freedom of speech. And you actually helped me prove a point. Just because you don't want to hear what I have to say, you can tune out.
Yeah.
But for those that want to hear what I have to say, we're going to talk about it. Because I don't just talk about masculinity here, I talk about politics. You know what else is a part of masculinity? Not letting people say shit that gets you out of your feelings to where you want to harm them. Or not letting a rhetoric or with someone their opinion bother you so much that you think less of yourself. What Charlie Kirk or anybody of his liking may think of any demographic, that doesn't bother me because he doesn't move
Mm,
my situation one bit. It doesn't matter. I use Charlie Kirk as an example to talk about speech, uh, not being censored, and people being too sensitive. But I want to go somewhere else. I'm just spending a little time here, and then I'm gonna get to the next part. My man's came back said back like Jordan wearing the 4-5 instead of just being right. He's Rob J 10X.
hey, yeah,
Hey,
bro.
I,
You
I,
know, a great
but I
Dick Gregory,
go
great Dick
ahead.
Gregory said, "Hey, man, Dick Gregory said, man, a nigga got a right to be ignorant, man." So it's like at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got a right to their viewpoint on it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know. So yeah, that shit. It is. You know, it's your platform. Now I love the audacity, regardless if I agree with you or not, man. I think the audacity is is Charlie Kirkish. You know what I'm saying? So it's like in that sense, but
Man,
you know,
nobody watched what that dude was saying, dog. No,
no,
no. I have looked at many content creators, shock jocks, whatever the case may be, Rush Limbaugh. I used to listen to Rush Limbaugh. I've listened to a lot of different political outlets, media, blah, 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 blah. That guy's not an extremist and he's not saying anything wild. Before you showed up, I was talking about this clip culture. Everything comes in clips. And many times we don't desire to go look at things in full context. We only want to get the clip. It's just like Kevin Samuels, right? When Kevin Samuels was going viral, so many women I would talk to and say, hey, what do you not like about Kevin Samuels? They never could tell me. And I would say, well, hey, did you look at his video? I don't have to see that. I'm not even finna look at it. Well, how can you have an opinion about something that you hadn't had in full context? And I think that's some of the trickery of this clip culture. And hey, I am a part of that. We are all fighting for attention. So out of everything I say, even this show, for instance, we could have clipped me taking Rob J off stage and made that into a what's gonna happen next. Like there's real beef between us, and it's actually not. But we could take that and make it look like something more just to give hope. We hope that people are going to watch us in full context. And that's one of the issues that I think we have across the board. We look at things in clips. We want
Right.
the synopsis of things. We don't really want to look at, for instance, this may be it may be that I'm being a dead horse to you, but I'm gonna share this with the audience because I ain't been live with my people. All right. So here's the thing. Um, he did not say anything negative towards black women. He named a few black women. And so black women took that as, oh, he's talking about black women. He didn't talk about all black pilots. He talked about pilots aligned with a certain argument he had. You can think it's ignorant. Here's the beauty in it. You can think he's an asshole for his opinions. You can think he's an idiot for that. It's just it is what it is. But if we're gonna argue it, let's argue exactly his what his argument was. That's my only thing. And again, this is not exclusively about Charlie Kirk because it's Charlie Kirk today and who is it tomorrow. This is why people like I don't even want to drop this guy's name. I don't want to get in the habit of putting people's names out here, but I'll just say this. There's podcasters who have strong opinions, who enjoy hearing about Charlie Kirk's death. And what you must realize is there's always an op. You got Crips, you got Bloods.
Yeah.
You know, like they're like somebody's not people don't like my opinions. I've been called all kind of stuff in the comments. People hate. I have people that have blocked me as of recently just for having this discussion. They don't like how I feel about this. Now, here's where things get a little nuanced with Charlie Kirk is if you as we dive into this more and more and more, we do see a Zionist. We do see some Israeli influence. We do see some Jewish influence. And I'm sorry, it's getting to a point to where a lot of that is alarming. It's like when you talk about ALC, when you talk about politics on both sides, the Israeli influence is pretty high and it's pretty strong. Then you got this guy saying he's fearful that he may be assassinated because he doesn't want to go along with the gang anymore. I had no clue that this guy was heavily funded in the beginning. A lot of these guys get heavily funded in the beginning. They get heavily funded by some organization, by some group with an agenda, and they have to play along for quite some time. And when they don't, they can get out of here. If you know
Yeah.
what I mean. So I think that's a little odd. And so the question is capitalism being exploited to take down free speech?
Hmm. Um, I don't know. That's a tricky one because I mean, even if you say, you know, all funding is going to come from somebody that has a particular belief. You know, if you hit the lottery tomorrow and you gave me $1 million, I was funded by, Andrew Williams, who was really a staunch, you know, possessor of disdain for all things liberal, who believed in that. So you know what I'm saying? That's who I was funded. But so it's like when people reference a person's funding, it's like it's impossible to get funded by someone who doesn't have a belief. Not I won't say impossible, but generally wealthy people that fund people have some form of a motive or belief system. Um, the freedom of speech thing, this has been going on long before Charlie Kirk. You could trace this back to um, Professor Griff on Nick Cannon's show, and then the dog and pony. It's like culturally in America, it's almost like the punishment for saying something viewed as anti-Semitic is you have to go do like Israel detention. And Israel detention is like where you learn about the virtue of Israel, then you come back changed, and and you kind of display what you've learned or whatever. Um, now shout out to Kyrie, who's really the only one who, you know, took his lick like Denzel in Glory and just took out and let the tear fall out how he took it. But yeah, even you look at how people switched up on Kyrie. Look at Google, just pull up what Shaq, Shannon Sharp, Charles Barkley. Just look up what this brother's contemporaries said about him, and you will see like it really ain't. A lot of these brothers don't have a revolutionary bone in their body. The Israel thing is real tricky, man. Like, America has a certain relationship with Israel where like we don't spy on Israel. You know, our CIA doesn't, you know, even engage in any clandestine, irregardless of what they do. So it's I don't know, it's a strange relationship. I don't really know. I'm not informed enough to really know of a real solution. I mean, they exercise a certain amount of power. Um, that you could argue that they almost have to be able to exercise because they're surrounded by, you know, as the youngins say, ops. So, you know, but it doesn't seem like there's anybody who actually can actually hold Israel accountable to anything without, you know, some
And
type
that's
of
an
problem.
issue. I mean, how embedded is this place in American politics? I mean, you got to think, when you have a group of people that own media, entertainment, politics, that could be kind of spooky, especially when, let's just look at this whole anti-Semitism.
Mhm.
Um, they have a word exclusively for themselves, which is wild. Like, they have a word exclusively for, any type of hatred that may come towards them,
Yeah.
instead of just being racism, you know.
Like that, they don't just have a word; they have a whole league. They have an they have an organization that monitors, you know, harmful speech towards them. I mean, that's actually what we need as black men. We definitely need an anti defamation league. You know, um, but yeah, no, they do. They have they wield a power that's like unique to all other forms of global power. You know, because it has like this it's a physical force, but then it's like intertwined with this uh chosen people of God thing, and this like this morality and almost like destiny element to it. So that's a lot of things in one, you know. And then on top of that, you know, it's where just questioning them is considered anti-Semitic. I've heard the assumption that pretty much all Jews are rich is anti-Semitic. If I said, man, the Jews is loaded, that's anti-Semitic. You know, like, so to be able to suspend a guy from his work because he posted a movie that was on Amazon that was actually researched by a Jewish person. You know, that's the type of power that they hold. And there's no one else on the planet that can enforce things from the morality standpoint. Like America, yeah, we'll step on you, you know, we'll kill you, you know, and things like that. But we don't play moral police, you know. If you diss us, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no one else that really kind of yields that duality where it's like they'll kill you and make you look like a bad person for saying something that they said hurt their feelings, you know. But it's like imagine a serial killer telling you you hurt his feelings.
So
like
we have these things, like when we start to think about Jeffrey Epstein, and we're hearing, I'm hearing this whole alignment with, Israeli intelligence. This alignment he has with their Israeli intelligence community. Where does he get all this money from? Like, this guy that's just like this substitute teacher. Oh, look at this guy. He's good. Let's let him up. Let's let him up. Oh, Brett, is he here? Okay, I thought he wanted to come up. We'll see.
yeah.
You got this guy Jeffrey Epstein who has this alignment with, the intelligence community in Israel, and he has all this power, like these billions of dollars when he was a school teacher. I don't even know if he's a degreed school teacher, but he goes from being this school teacher to somehow being connected with the CEO or owner of Victoria's Secret, and he gets all this money, and then he gets all this information on all these powerful political leaders. I think there's something to that. I think there's something to people that have ties to Israel, and listen, I shouldn't have to preference this in the community that we're in now. You have to say things like, we're not talking about all Jewish people. Well, obviously we aren't talking about all Jewish people, but there seems to be quite a bit of them that have ties to Israel over this country, and they have influence in our community, in our society, in ways that I just don't think they should. It should be America first. And I think that we're getting to a place where we can now question these things, especially if we are assuming that they're getting people knocked off.
Yeah.
I mean, and I just think, see, here's how things become a double-edged sword. We're in a highly surveillanced world now. We're in a highly surveillanced world. We get to see everything. So even the people that want to hide and keep secrets, they're going to struggle. Just like with this Charlie Kirk assassination. Now there's a discrepancy on the ballistics and how he was shot and what he was shot with. I mean, this is out in the open. You got special operation guys, you got people that are these ballistic experts. It's like, that's not the type of round they're saying that this guy got shot with. Just the sound of it sounds different. So now the conspiracies become a lot stronger because we can see them in real time. And
Yeah.
then we have this alignment with, we can't say anything about anybody Jewish. We can't even mention their names, or we get banned off the internet. But I mean, they keep coming up. Their names keep coming up in places where it's like, we have to question you. And Candace Owens did this, and they was, that I had this discussion with Darren Billy, where I do feel as though Candace may have been doing a little too much. We just seen this guy lose his life. We don't want to necessarily hear about all these conspiracies, but I mean, it seems like every day it becomes more and more a reality that there is a conspiracy with this guy's death. And it's not just him, it's not just about Charlie, it's about anybody that's speaking out against Israel. It's about as we talk about America first, there are a lot of things that we have issues with, but then we begin to say, hey, Brett, do you want to come up? I just seen him say something. Hold on. What did he say? Hold on, I'm trying to let you up. Oh, here you go. All right. So
What's good?
hey,
Hey,
look,
what's up, brother?
he didn't. The nigga that got dressed up tonight, huh? It's 11 o'clock. It's almost 12 o'clock. That nigga dressed up. He got his little headset on. He ready, huh?
I just got my Astros shirt on, watching them Jokers lose tonight. That's all.
So, so it's like, I do feel weird about Israel, and I just feel weird about them having so much influence on our politics. I do really feel some type of way about them having that type of influence on our politics. And I think they have it on both sides. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think it's just Democrats. I think it's definitely on the right wing side. I think there's just a lot of Israeli influence. There's a lot of Jewish influence. It's just what it is. And so when you have somebody like even the AOC, who will be, stomp down on certain issues until she gets to Israeli politics. You know, Charlie, same thing. It was, he was stumped down until he got to Israeli politics. And then as soon as he kind of loosened up on that and started questioning Israel, he's out of here. Here's the other thing that I also think we need to be aware of. I've talked about this a lot, even though we have a lot of different political discussions on the show and in our group chat. We also have to be wary of the exploitation internationally of domestic issues, such as racism, such as sexism, and all those things. I think they're exploited internationally to make us think that these are real issues that we may not really necessarily have. Not to that magnitude, because we thought that, oh, this is some extreme left guy who took out Charlie. Because at the first eye, I mean, when you first see it, you see it that way. Oh, it's conservative. It's conservative. It's liberal. It's black. It's white. No, it could very well just be international. It could be an international issue where this guy's like, "Hey, I don't want to support Israel." He has and they funded him, so they've given him all this money, and he can now wake up one day and be like, "I don't want to support Israel. I don't think we should support their wars. I don't. I think that what they're doing in Gaza is ridiculous, and we're gonna stop doing this." Oh, he's out of here. He's gone. It's like that's an issue. Oh, Jeffrey Epstein. Hey, you know what he was actually doing? He was collecting all this uh terrible information and underage activity with these politicians to keep them in Israel's pocket. Like, what if that's the case? What if that's the real issue here? What if that's what we're dealing with? And if you say something, you could either lose your life or be deplatformed.
I mean, I still, to me, I don't really see like the connection or what it really means, like what party the killer was in. You know, I don't really. To me, I mean, it's a chance. It's one person that picked up a gun and shot it. You know, I mean, if I don't see how if he was a liberal, it changed anything. If it was, I mean, you're dealing with. Collegiate kids, and a lot of times these are kids that really had, universities where there's a very high level of meliorism that they view him as a threat to. So is it unrealistic that there could be a rogue student at a university that had enough disdain to pick up a gun and bust it at trial? I mean, I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility, but the fact I just don't see what's so important about the political affiliation of the shooter. You know, I mean, um, and like I mean, is it causation or correlation? Like I could, where what feels like your confidence when you say like definitively it was Israel that was behind it?
I mean, I'm not. We will never know when we're talking about money and power and secrecy and clandestine organizations. You can always what they call it, plausible deniability or something shit like that. Like you can always just say, "Oh, I don't know, oh, I don't know," but I mean, there seems to be some smoke
Yeah.
coming from a demographic of people that have a lot of money, that control the media, that can get you silenced, that fund both parties. Like they fund Republicans and they fund Democrats. I mean, this is just what it is. And so there just seems to be some smoke over there. I mean, when you got Netanyahu, how you say his name? Come on, Ray.
Man. Uh,
Netanyahu.
Netanyahu.
Netanyahu. Okay. When you have him allegedly personally calling Charlie, like, hey, we can give you more money if you just kind of lean this way. And then as soon as something happens to him, hey, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to step out on a further limb. I even want to say that all this love for Charlie is manufactured. I believe that there's a level of manufacturing. And this is not to say that people didn't actually love him. But I believe this United States. Oh, let's make a coin. Let's make a holiday. Let's accelerate the love for him. Kind of get you off of the hey, what really happened to this guy? Hey,
Mhm.
what are y'all really doing? What's really happening? We're seeing, the more that people begin to question things that are happening in front of our faces, the more we kind of say, I don't know about that.
Um,
I, you
uh,
know, Go ahead.
I think the energy coming from wanting to memorialize him and make give him national holidays and all that. It comes from the same place of wanting to put those black Confederates back, names back in statues back up. You know, those black Confederates, man. Okay, it would be a different thing. I hope I'm not getting too far off topic. If those black of those monuments that they had to Confederate generals and stuff, if they were put up like in the 1800s, but they weren't. They were put up in the 1950s and 60s during civil rights unrest. and they were put up to try to keep black folks in line, just to remind you, what country you in and what people are the type of people that are in power are, and I think that's what they're trying to do with Charlie Kirk. They're trying to remind people we're not going to forget this guy. This is a guy that used to 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 own the libs. He used to dominate you guys, and when he used to go to these colleges, and I think it's the same energy that comes there.
I don't. I don't. Okay. Are you speaking about a group of people? Sure, I will give you that. I want you to think a little bigger. I don't think it's that simple. I think there's a demographic of people. Listen, every argument that we have here, there's a group that fits it. That's just what it is. There's a group that fits uh every argument we have here. In this case, I think that we're all being manipulated a little bit. No, not a little bit, a lot of it. I think that we are all being manipulated into thinking, for instance, if there's a ballistic issue with killing Charlie, maybe this is the conspiracy hour. We're gonna change this to the conspiracy hour. This ain't the trauma hour right now. This is the conspiracy hour. If you have all these special ops guys and all these artillery guys and ballistic guys saying that's not the type of bullet that dude got shot with. Because if he got shot with this is what he would have looked like. Then you got this coroner report saying that, oh, that bullet didn't go through his neck. And you got all these hunters that's shot with this weapon saying that just is impossible, leading us to believe that maybe this kid isn't even the real shooter and he's some kind of fall guy. Then that would lead me to believe that somebody's trying to incite a civil war. Somebody's trying to create some scenario situation where the United States implodes, where it just blows up. This was my whole China Israel connection that I was trying to make earlier, is that you have two opposing forces that know they can't take us down necessarily by force, but they can do things through social media. They can do things culturally that divide us. And it seems like that's more of the case, because China will take its time. China could totally take its time to get us, you know, in a very compromised position. Um, yeah, China can take us down into a very compromised, position just through social media, influencing our culture. I think Israel can do it as well. I think they could do the same thing, as far as those that own these media outlets. I think they have the same capability to really transform our thought and our programming and our minds and how we interact with each other. And it's very dangerous.
It's a it's a little bit different. I mean, China's strength is in their money, and their resources. Israel's strength is who's got their back. That's period. That's why they can go around the Middle East punking all these people that don't look nothing like them, and because they know that the United States got their back. They're like a little bully running around, knowing that his big brother is behind him, so running around slapping people and knocking lunch trays over and stuff like that. And so the situation, the comparison is not completely off, but it's just a little bit different.
I think they're both. I think that they both have nefarious intent.
You might be
That,
right.
that's what I think. I think that
Hmm.
they both have ulterior motives that are not aligned with America's ideology or what we think America's ideology is. And I think this is where capitalism has been exploited against us because we have a free market. You can come here and make money. You can come have business. I think that this is where we see a problem. That's my personal opinion. I think that this is where we actually see a problem. I think that See, this has been my argument about immigration. My argument with immigration is infiltration. Is that when you have a place where anybody can come to and you don't have a sense of nationalism, you can give way to this type of shit. That's all I've been saying. And what happens is it's hard to see that because you can hide behind things such as racism and oh little babies are being taken away. You can hide from that type of shit. You can cover up what's really happening here. That's just like me and Courtney were talking about this today. When Texas had to say, hey, no more Chinese foreigners buying land here because they were buying so much land. Like there's just such a infiltration of foreign nationals here doing all kinds of shit that we don't know what it is. And I think that when you have a world where people love money and people are greedy, everybody is for sale. Everybody has a price. And I think even people that we think are supposed to be our, heroes, they're supposed to be our protection. They can be bought and paid for on both sides. It's like tonight's show. I don't want us to be like, oh, I'm a liberal. I'm a conservative. Oh no, I'm not a conservative. Oh no, I'm not a liberal. I want us to think bigger and say, hey, especially as black people, when we need to have an agenda, who are these people? Who are these people that saying that they fight for us and want to fuck with us? Like, who are these guys? What's moving them? What's really moving them? And what do they really care about? And I hope that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just like this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. Um Again, before you got here, Brett, I was saying, look, I think anything surrounding a guy's death that we saw publicly, any joking, it's over the top. It's just what it is, dude. It was over the top. However, he went back on the air tonight, right? Tonight's Tuesday.
Sorry.
It's today
Tonight's
Tuesday.
Wednesday. He went back last
Yeah.
night.
Okay, Wednesday. I'm sorry, my days have ran together. He went back. He went back. He went back last night. Okay, so I mean, obviously, we can shape things with our dollars. Um, I don't like the FCC making these threats. I don't want the president. I don't want freedom of speech to be attacked in that manner. I don't. I really don't. If I'm being honest, I'm gonna be honest. I don't like it. I don't want the government to have any influence on your employer telling you whether you can keep your job or not. So let's just go ahead and get that out the way. My only issue with Jimmy was, hey, dude, you're okay when it's happening to others. You're okay when it's Tucker Carlson. You're okay when it's Roseanne Barr. He is. He is. He's
No, I
okay.
mean he's okay when Fox News makes the decision for them to be fired. He's okay when ABC makes the decision to to fire Roseanne. That's fine. It's a problem when the government leans on ABC to make to force discipline on him. That's the difference. That's the difference. It's not the same thing. It's like saying, like, okay, you're a truck driver, you drive for like, say, night transportation, and then, and you saying what you want to say, but then night comes down and says, hey man, we got to sit you down, because what you're saying it's not a good representation of us. But it could be you could be saying something that could be borderline or could be not, and then the FBI or and then they come and they threaten Knight, said, "Hey man, you need to shut down. You need to shut Drew down. He's talking too much shit." Um, and then they put you out of service. That those are two different animals, man. Those are two different animals. I know they seem similar, but they're two different things.
Yeah, no, I see the difference that you're explaining. I think, yeah, yeah, being fired from a network versus it coming down from a political stance. I mean, that is a
Yeah,
huge
that goes
difference.
that goes directly. That's what the First Amendment is all about. That's exactly what it is. It allows people I mean, it doesn't want the government involved in people's freedom of speech unless
Well,
you
I mean,
trying
technically,
to
it's technically you.
yell fire in a crowded theater. You don't want you doing that.
Well,
But
technically, it's more about you not going to prison. It shouldn't be about them influencing you getting fired. I have protection from that, and I don't know the exact legal ramifications, but I know for a fact it's mainly about, hey, I can say, hey, the government is sucky and we need a change, and nobody should come arrest me and put me in prison. However,
correct.
comma, nobody should also be able to get you fired. I totally agree with that. But
Mhm.
here's where I think the line does need to be drawn. Even with a Jimmy Kimmel, is like, could you just not stay away from the joking with this at all? Like, could we just also come out and say, hey, how come I haven't heard anybody from the left? I'm just being honest. How come I haven't heard anybody from the left come out and say, hey, we may disagree, this is terrible? And no, I actually have heard some people come out. Let me say
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah,
All
we
of
I
them,
just,
actually,
pretty much
yeah,
everybody has.
yeah. Van Jones said it. Charlie Kirk DM'd him the day he
yeah,
died.
Yeah.
yeah. I have heard that. But I just think by and large, that would be something they should all unify on. Look, we didn't agree with this guy. We have our feelings. This is like AOC getting out there. Let's be clear with who Charlie Kirk is. No, no, no. No matter who he was, we not rocking with that. We don't want to see people get off, even though I think it's a conspiracy. I'm just being honest. But we don't want to see people losing their lives. I think that should be the talk of the town. We don't want to see people getting off for saying how they feel. Just like we don't want to see Jimmy Kimmel lose his job for telling a joke. We don't want to see somebody getting killed for saying how they really feel about things, whether you think
Okay,
it's racist or not.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, but let's look on the other side of the coin. Should we so since we don't want people off or anything like that. We don't want to see the people get killed. Does that mean that we need to to whitewash who they really was? The memory of when we remember them, are we supposed to put up this Pollyanna um
Had
side of a side of what they were, or should we actually put out what they really were?
well, that is subjective, and I think that that's gonna be in the eye of the beholder. It's just what it is. I mean, obviously, one person thinks he's an extremist, and one person thinks he's an angel. I think we leave that up to each person to take a look at and say this is what they think of him. Um, I think that when you're a politician in a place of power and you don't want somebody to come put a bullet in you for saying how you feel, you need to get, or you're a podcaster. I think you need to get in front of this and say, hey, we want to be in a place where we can go on a college campus, which is where this should be happening, and have debate. We want to have a place where we can sit down and have dialogue about how we feel. We want to create the society like that. Yes, we know tensions are gonna rise. Yes, we know we've had a history. I mean, we can go down the list. JFK, MLK, uh, Malcolm X. We know these things have happened, but we would like to see a society where we have progressed from this and we can have dialogue no matter how we feel. We can't change people. Clearly, we can't change how some people feel about this guy on either side. But I think it's irresponsible for someone in a public office who to watch that and have seen that and get on stage and be like, "Oh, this guy was just such a terrible guy." It's like that's not the point. It doesn't matter what you think about him. It doesn't matter what you think about him. What happened was totally wrong, and that's just what it is. I think there's an undertone. You want to know what I think the undertone is? The undertone is we want to do something bad to people that say things we don't like. I think that. I think the collective on the opposition to what he was saying is we would like to see something happen to you, or if something happens to you, hey, give me 1 second, y'all.
All right.
Yeah, right. I'm just doing a live. Hold on. I don't know if I have it on me. Here. I'm giving the Wi-Fi code out. It's right there. But I mean, I think you have to have a society to where you can have healthy dialogue
That's
and not have this act of violence. I think there is an under.
you're right. You're right because there are people that like Charlie. I'm not going to say what people they are, but people that were fans of Charlie Kirk are trying to compare him to Martin Luther King. They're trying to compare him to Malcolm X and things like that. And I think it's really off base. That's the best word I can say. Is it's off base to compare him to either of those men. And but like so we gotta. I mean, so when it comes back, that's where that tone comes from. That's what AOC is saying. Is like, look, Martin Luther King went to jail 100 times. For people, he spent over 100 some days in jail. Charlie Kirk hasn't sacrificed nothing like that. He sacrificed nothing like that while he was living.
Well,
You
he
know,
sacrificed his life.
I mean,
I
you're
mean,
right.
look,
I mean,
he sacrificed
yeah,
his life.
yeah, yeah.
He's 31.
And
He's
and and and
31 years
and
old.
and, and you got to realize that Martin Luther King was trying to unite people. That's what he was trying to do. Charlie Kirk, was he a uniter of people? I can't say that. I can't say that at all.
So
You
playing
know.
advocate, playing a devil's advocate here. Regardless of what Martin's intentions were, he was not uniting people. There were a lot of people who did not like him up until his death.
You're right.
He's some,
Yeah.
he is somebody that was renowned after his death, but he had a. I mean, he was his belief system was the I'm painting a real picture. His intention was that his intention, and those that believe in what he was doing would agree. Hey, he was trying to unite people. But the fact is, he had oppositions in black people. He had oppositions, obviously, with white people. So he was not uniting people. That's something that happened after his death. Same thing with Charlie. He may have felt like, hey, I'm saying the truth. I'm uniting everybody that believes in the truth. I don't think I'm saying anything racist because there's countless of videos where this guy's saying I'm not a racist. Now, Nick Fuentes, who's just went on this valuetainment, is clearly saying he's racist. Like he's racist. He supports. He doesn't believe in interracial relationships. He's
Uh,
saying all this. Whereas you got a guy like Charlie that didn't say anything like that. So
well, I mean, okay. There's levels to it. Okay, most racists are gonna say they're not racist. You know what I'm saying? And the overwhelming majority of racists won't admit that they're racist. You know, so like Nick Fuentes is a one-off.
then they're not really racist.
Hmm. So if they don't admit they're racist, they're not
They're
racist.
not. They're not. They're full of shit. They're not racist. A real racist, white society nationalists are gonna openly admit to being racist.
No, come on, man. You have a white
Yeah.
belt in understanding white people if you believe that. Like that is just completely naive, man. I've been around white
Real,
people
real,
of the highest regard of racism, but
real,
they
real.
don't have to tell you that at
Then
all.
you don't know what racism is.
All right.
Yeah,
Do you think Joe Biden's a racist?
I think that Joe Biden most certainly is a racist, and
I guarantee you, he will say no. He's
he
always
he
said
has
no.
he has said the most racist. He said the most racist shit ever.
Oh, really?
yeah, but that's what.
You want me to go there?
I'm not going to defend what he said.
But by your
But
definition, if
by
he
your
doesn't come out
definition,
and by your
Hey,
definition, he wouldn't be a racist because he
hey,
huh?
hasn't come out and said he's a
only
racist.
racists would do and say the things that he said, regardless
Man, that's
if
what I've
he's
been trying
admitted
to
to
get
it.
you to say. That's what I've been trying to get you to understand about Charlie Kirk. For the
Charlie
last
Kirk's not
for
a
the last month.
racist.
Charlie Kirk says and only does stuff that racists do.
Like what?
That's it
Give
right
me an example.
there.
Give me an example.
Well, like going after like what he said about Michelle Obama.
That's not racist.
Uh, that wasn't racist because he singled out four
Yeah,
black women,
that's not all black
it insulted their intelligence, despite the fact these women are Ivy League educated with graduate degrees, and this guy has and this guy dropped out of junior college. So to say something that egregious and
That's
to
not.
not be qualified to say,
That's
oh,
not.
that only comes from a place of racism. I'm
That's not.
sorry.
That's not all black women. And from the standpoint of what his argument was, it's not racist.
Okay. All right.
He's questioning. He
Let me ask you this: have you ever heard white people call black people thugs?
yes.
Do you think that comes from a place of racism?
I think there's prejudice. I think there's prejudice, and then there's racism.
All
I
right.
think difference.
Being all right. Yeah, you're right. Being prejudiced and being racist are two different things.
First off, let's go back to Joe
Because
Biden.
being
Let's
racist
go back
comes
to Joe.
from a position of power.
Let's go back to Joe Biden.
Hmm.
He's a politician who will say any and everything. But as far as racism, he has most certainly said racist things, and he has participated in racist legislation. Crime bill. Not only the crime bill, he said you're not black if you don't vote for him. He said a lot of the most. He
Man,
said
all right. Can we throw that if you're not black,
no,
you
we're not.
vote for? Can we throw that in the
That's
trash?
racist. That
That's
that that.
that's the most ridiculous bone that people that don't like Joe Biden hold on to.
And
Did
I
he
mean,
did he say
it's
that?
no way you could argue the Michelle Obama thing isn't racist, but say the if you don't vote for me, you ain't black is. That's just not you're not judging on the same scorecard.
Yeah, yes.
You know.
No. Hold on. Let's not. We not finna play no games.
No,
Listen
I
to
ain't
this.
never played a game in my life.
You fucking lying. Have you ever played a video game?
Yeah.
Hey
All
man, sometimes
right,
hey man, my
all
life
right.
restart every day. You know what I'm
All right.
saying?
Hey, listen, dog. Listen. In the context of the argument he made about, I went on the deep dive on everything he said. It's not racist. Joe Biden, however, he grouped an entire group of people and said you should vote this way. And he's also legislated against this same group.
So I mean, Donald Trump said that he's done the most for blacks. There's no reason why the blacks shouldn't vote for me. What do you got to lose?
Yeah.
The blacks to vote for me. You know, what's it? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, what do you got to lose?
What
It's
what
not as
what
bad as if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, but it's in the same tier. It ain't far apart.
Hey, he has to say things like that because he understands the Democratic strategy. He
See,
has
you're not
to.
slicing them down the middle. You were not slicing them down the middle
Every,
tonight.
everybody who has had some argument for conservative votership has said the Democrats keep saying, dog, I take everything that someone does and says in context. I'm not taking snippets to make an argument. I looked at everything that both parties are saying, that both people are saying. So I can make the argument for Donald that, hey, Donald didn't write the 1994 crime bill. He wasn't a part of that. You can say that his dad discriminated in apartments and all of that, whatever the case may be. That's private.
His dad, him.
But but you can also look at how many people, even Steve Harvey admitted, Donald Trump then gave them money that they didn't have to pay back. Donald Trump did all this stuff for
Yeah,
black
he
and
also took out a page in the New York Times advocating for the death penalty for the Central Park Five as well.
He was a Democrat when he did that, though. So that's how complex it is. Like trying to judge people off of
it's
words.
it's it's
It's
it's
like
it's, it's not it's not complex at all. I think that white people are gonna do white people shit at times, but I think we have to define what real racism is versus being prejudiced. You can be prejudiced, and see, we get confused. We'll say some prejudice shit is racist, or we'll say somebody being prejudiced or saying some shit that's pro their people, well, that's racist. No, there is a difference.
There is a huge difference.
You can be prejudiced, but when you're racist, you're legislating, practicing
You,
white supremacy. There's a
right,
there's more
right.
to
You're
racism.
you're influencing millions of people to act upon the same way or feel the same way or do a certain thing.
But Charlie Kirk didn't do that. Did bro? He did. I'm listen. I did a deep dive on this guy,
Boy,
man. Look,
you sound like
I would have
you
loved,
sound like you sound like Red from Friday, man. I
dog,
promise you. Oh,
love,
but that was different.
I
Come
would
on, man.
love to come. I would love to come on here and say, hey y'all, let's just agree that this guy was terrible because you know he was harming black folks. That was the case. I would say, hey man, let's just talk about this. I don't like this, but I went on a deep dive on this guy, and it's just what he wasn't doing. He wasn't
All
doing
right.
it.
All right. Let's talk about like okay. This is what some people say that these are Joe Biden backers say that when they wrote the '94 crime bill, they wrote what the people asked for, and there was no way they could foresee that it destroying a community the way it did because the way they wrote it is not the way it was carried out in the states. That's what you have to understand. In the states, they used the '94 crime bill to add in three strikes and you're out, stuff like that, mandatory
They
minimum,
knew that shit was
things
gonna
like that.
go down like that. He
That,
knew.
that no, because it didn't happen in every state. It happened, but it happened in Texas. It happened in Louisiana. It happened in Alabama. It happened in California. It happened in New York. But it didn't happen in other places. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, so to sit there and say that Joe Biden was racist for the '94 crime bill. A, he was a politician that did what his constituents told him to do. B, the people that took advantage of it were other lawmakers and from other states, legislators from other states that took it to the next level and and destroyed people with it. So to sit there and say he had a nefarious plan to do it, I hate saying this stuff because I don't want to defend Joe Biden because I don't think because I don't I'm not a Joe Biden fan, but I think you got to be fair.
No, I don't have to be fair with him. I think he knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. I think that.
You think
Because
he was trying to destroy? You think he was trying to destroy the black community?
well, I mean, look, these guys know where the drug infested and impoverished areas were. Come on, dog. Like that's not something that they had to go hard. That wasn't hard to find.
And you kind of
Think that
young, man. You kind of young, man. Because like in the '90s, early '90s, man, everybody was sick of gangs. Everybody was sick of crime. And everybody wanted people to be tougher on crime.
oh,
And
wait a minute. So you're saying black people felt that way too?
absolutely, black people, Asians, Jews, whites, Hindus,
So
all everybody wanted
where
to
do you
be
think the
tougher on
majority
crime.
of the crime was coming from?
The majority of the crime,
Yeah.
not from 12% of the country.
Nah, nah, don't moonwalk out of this. Now you said so wait a minute.
That math doesn't math.
So wait a
That-
minute. They had gangs in Brentwood, California. Like they were
no,
crips and blood out
no,
there.
no. But they have them in Queens, New York,
Okay,
and the Bronx.
and that's primarily who?
Um, Mostly black folks are in Queens.
Okay, so if everyone, including black people, were tired of the crime primarily coming
Mhm.
from black people, then everybody agreed, even black people, that crime should be eliminated.
Right. Everybody who agreed, yeah, that crime should be eliminated,
Okay,
and,
so what's the difference?
and everybody agreed upon.
So what's the difference in that opinion and Charlie Kirk's opinion?
What in the
Huge.
office of Tatum are you doing, man? Hey, what?
No,
Hey.
okay, because throwing because I mean you got to look at what back then to now. Okay, we know now that just locking people up isn't the answer to reduce crime. Locking up people and throwing stupid time at them, you know, that just makes it makes criminals more it makes them more elusive, and it also it gives people a mindset where they don't care, where they do more violent things. But like, but what I'm trying to say is this: is that um back then that's what they thought is just lock people, throw people under the jail, and that wasn't the answer, and everybody agreed upon the '94 crime bill except for the Republican Party. They were the only ones, and the only reason why they didn't agree upon it, why? Because it wasn't harsh enough. They said it was too soft.
Hmm. Man, that's
That's
interesting.
real. That's real. The Republicans voted it down because it was too soft.
Well, good for them. I think they should have voted it down.
Oh, is that right? Well, then how come they're not handling the opioid crisis the same way they're handling the crack crisis? Then,
But you really
Mister
can't wiggle.
Mister
You
Mister
can't
John
wiggle.
God.
Can't wiggle. You can't wiggle out of what you just said though. You agree that everybody was tired of the crime,
Mm-hmm.
and
Which
so
they
that
and
was
which
your way. That was your way of letting Joe Biden punk ass off the hook, and that's okay. But now you got this kid Charlie Kirk that's essentially saying the same thing, and everybody's agreeing, even black people, and somehow he's racist. So if Joe Biden's not racist for that, how is Charlie Kirk racist for that?
okay. I'll tell you why. Because Charlie Kirk is putting out fake numbers, saying that
What number?
51. What is he saying? He's
What,
saying that
Yeah, that crime,
saying
the crime stat.
the crime statistics that he's saying. What he's quoting is arrests on like fit for murders that 51% of murders that black people are 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 arrested for them. But he's saying that but he doesn't say that. He says 51% of murders of all murders are committed by black people. But he doesn't he doesn't go back and correct that we're only convicted on like 35 to 40% of those,
you do know?
and then we're exonerated on the conviction on
More
like
than anybody.
28%. 28% of those. That's more than any other demographic out there.
Yeah. Hey, the thing
So
about Charlie
it's
Kirk. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
no. I'm good. I'm good. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing about Charlie Kirk was like, you know, he was really not a high level debater. Like, I mean, he's a really like I said, Charlie Kirk was to debate what Kimbo Slice was to fighting. I mean, these were it was the equivalent of a intellectual backyard brawl that, you know, yeah, I mean, amongst a bunch of college kids and everything like that, yeah, he looks like a really sharp. You put him in front of, any type of high level, intellectual with some type of moderation where he can't cut you off, can't overtalk you, can't do this. You know, he was a guy that was, from all I've seen, an average debater with an occasionally a great moment, and occasionally, but this was not a high, like, that's the thing. This is not a high level, like, this is not a guy who was talking about things from a high level thinking. These were very base level, like, I won't say elementary, but this was the lowest level of debate. I mean, you
Right,
going around.
and he speaks fast and articulately, so it makes it seem like he's nailing his points.
Yeah,
Candace Owens does that too.
like,
I think she's a better debater. I would agree that they're better debaters than he. But I think he brought up a lot of great points, and I think he brought up points that had already been brought up. So
yeah,
that's another thing too. He's bringing up points that have already been argued. That isn't really hard to argue.
Mhm.
Um,
yeah,
as far as some of his stats, I don't think they're just super far off. Because if you actually look at the stats as it pertains to black people, it's pretty astounding, even for 13%. Like for 13% to be 13% of the population, we still have some pretty astounding numbers in terms of
Yeah,
crime,
Th-
single
he
parent.
also said that 73% of black fathers aren't in the home. That's so far ridiculously wrong.
Well, there
It's
is a third.
yeah.
laughable.
Hey, I'm
There's
gonna
a
send you
thirty
this
one.
guy, and I wish I knew could just pull his name out on the spot to give him credit. There's a brother. He's out of Houston right now, doing the best research, probably just online right now, as far as breaking down the real statistics and true
Mhm.
numbers. And I'm gonna send you his profile. And maybe we can even try to get him on one of these streams, man. But no, like, this guy's just picking apart, these statistics. A lot of the tool that they use is they take out context. They don't tell the whole story. It's kind of like the whole the black women most educated statistic. It's a lot of fluff inside of
Mhm.
some of the things they present when it comes to these numbers and these 13%. I mean, like, and then you don't factor in that, and then it's never balanced with other statistics, like, just because someone is arrested at a higher rate doesn't mean that they're doing crime at a higher rate.
Right.
You
Especially when the community is over policed.
yeah. How's the opioid crisis a sickness, but crack
Yeah,
in
but why don't we
epidemic.
become? You keep saying that shit, but why don't we become police officers? That's the other part. Like we don't. Hey, let's talk about black people before we wrap up. We
I
Uh,
got
wish.
uh,
we got to cut this
uh,
woe is me shit out because we don't
You know,
want to be
okay, you know what?
police
No,
officers.
here, we can take it away from what was me, and I'll make it apples to apples, right? I'm not even gonna compare crack to opioid. We could take it to New Orleans, where in New Orleans street culture, it was popular that you had black inner city kids that would use heroin. It was never a crisis. They was just junkies. So I mean, like literally using the do engaging in, you know, probably the closest apples to apples comparison. So I mean, it's just like, and does that mean that it's okay to use heroin? There's none other problem. No, I'm not saying that, but the reality is, if you're trying to have pitch a debate or you're trying to present something like that, you're doing a disingenuous when you frame shit one type of way and you don't tell the whole story. Like and a lot of these guys, they're doing that on purpose. It's not
Doesn't care as much though. Like I don't even now. I don't care about what he was saying. However, I know there's a lot of truth in what he said about our community because we've been doing this studying and we've done our own statistics for our community for so long to see where we are. One of the things that I talk about a lot on this platform is the marriage rates and how that correlates with where we are financially. These are issues. We don't want to correct any issues that we have. We come up with some type of excuse to why we can't do things. And I just feel like we can. We have trillions of dollars in spending power. We say we have all these women that have gone to college. We do. We have bright young ladies. I think we need to encourage our men to do more blue collar work. There's a lot of things that we can do in our community that it just seems like we choose not to do. That's my personal opinion. I don't care about what he thinks about our community. Who cares? But we know we have some work to do. So even when we say we're over policed, well, why don't we get the right police officers there? Why don't we encourage our youth to become police officers? Why don't we create a culture that's just talking something different compared to the past? But hey, look,
Hey, Houston Constable salary came out today and make $260,000. That's more than the vice president and the governor. So speaking of
uh,
police,
I might have to go. Hey, I might be in y'all neighborhood, man, making some
They,
bread.
the
I'm
former,
definitely
the former, the former, the former Dallas police chief, um, Black Lives Matter came and protested, and he came down here and said, "Hey, why don't you join the force and I'll let you patrol your neighborhoods." That's
wow,
that's some real shit right there because he was from Oak Cliff. Y'all familiar with Oak Cliff in Dallas?
yeah,
All right, and the percentage of police brutality was through the roof. I mean, his first year he knocked it down like 80%. Okay, he fired a bunch of dudes. He's a union nightmare because he was just firing all dirty cops. But yes, you're right. You're right, Drew. Man, we do need a more culture that encourages our kids to become police officers. And and the key is they got to police our community. They got to be the ones that patrol that walk the beats in our neighborhoods, because they give a damn about the neighborhood. Because the
hmm
people that's walking the beats now and that respond to what's going on, they don't care. They don't care. Tamir Rice. Everybody knows what happened to Tamir Rice playing with a toy gun in a park. Somebody called the police on him. That was the first step that was wrong. And then those cops pull up, jump over the hood like Bo and Luke Duke from the Dukes of Hazzard, and shoot him in less than 5 seconds.
yeah,
A real cop, like somebody who cared about that neighborhood would know him. They'd be like, Tariq, Tariq, get out! What are you doing with that gun? You know you ain't supposed to do that. Get rid of that gun. Go on, go back home before I call your mom. That's what should have happened to Tamir Rice, not getting shot in less than 5 seconds with a toy gun in his hand.
man, no, it's
Well,
real,
hey, man, that's our time for the night. Cause I gotta get some rest. I just got off this road, so I can get some rest in the bed for a couple of nights before I gotta head out again. Hey, but tomorrow, while I'm in town, we will be doing this again, and we can start earlier too. We can probably go about 7 o'clock, and we'll come up with something that Rob wants to talk about since this was boring. Uh,
Hey man, shout out to brother Drew. Hey, you know what's funny? But earlier today, I was watching on Angela Yee show when Young Dro and Ti and the friend. He said, "Man, I'll slap you, man." And then they got into it, and Ti had to come. Hey man, sometimes friends don't see eye to eye, man. But hey, we still here. We still building on it, man. And, instead of fighting and feuding, man, they get money together like true players do, man.
Hey man, that's what we
So,
do, man, and we gotta be consistent. Hey, I didn't say this. Y'all need to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Y'all know we on the 50,000 sub campaign. It ain't nothing changed. The charmhour.com. Y'all head over there. We're going to start a subscription over there because I think it's time to begin to take the audience there. We're getting to a place where we need to take our community somewhere where we don't have to worry about censorship. And we can just say, what do we think? We can say what we think. I think that even when you go to a place where you don't have censorship, though, you still have to be mindful. So I don't want
mhm.
anybody to think that you're going to come to some place where we can just be extreme because we still have mindfulness here. But I think we've come into a society where we just too soft and we're just overly censored. So that's coming soon. Y'all got to make sure y'all tune in. But hey, I think we'll be back tomorrow, man. We're gonna
All right,
run it back to back, man. I'm gonna see y'all later.
all right, man. I stay blessed.
All right.
Be safe on that road, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, be safe, bro.
Oh, Charm guy.